Welcome, everybody. The focus of the next few weeks is learning how matter and energy cycle through our environment. We're going to start and learn and focus on nitrogen to begin. Um, One might think, well, the air has 78% nitrogen. Thank you, Carson, for pointing out that it's not 80%, it's 78. I was wrong yesterday. Take that in. So there's nitrogen in the air. We should, one would think, just breathe it in. All right, I'm filled with nitrogen. Crazy enough, that is not the way it works. Nitrogen in a gas form cannot be broken down by animals, and it cannot be broken down by plants. So, how do we actually get to this hugely abundant supply of nitrogen? We need nitrogen to survive. Nitrogen causes new cells to grow. Nitrogen also causes us to be able to heal and repair cells. And it also helps us to go to the bathroom. So without nitrogen, we would not live. And plants require nitrogen because it helps to make them green, creating this enzyme called chlorophyll. Without chlorophyll, plants would not do photosynthesis, which is taking sunlight and turning that into simple sugar. And so there would be no plants. So plants can't take in the nitrogen from the air, and animals can't take in nitrogen from the air. So how do we get it? There's two main ways. The first and most important way is through legumes. We are going to be focusing our learning today on what is a legume, where can we find them, and why are they important. So legumes are a really common thing. You might not have heard of them, but you 1000% are familiar with certain types of legumes. Legumes have this symbiotic relationship, meaning they give and take with bacteria. Bacteria is the only thing that's alive that can take nitrogen from the air and turn it into NO3 and NH3, which is a liquid form that plants can absorb. And then we get our nitrogen to help our cells grow from eating the plants that have nitrogen in it or the animals that eat the plants with nitrogen in it. So that's the only way we get it. Legumes consist of a lot of things, including things like peanuts, beans, soybeans, but there are some really common ones. I showed you guys yesterday the lupin plant. I took this plant, rinsed it off so we could take a closer look at it. I don't want you going into your garden and ripping these plants up, but on these plants, it almost looks like it's sick. You can see at the end here, there's these like little little growths. Those are called nodules. Nodules. I don't even know how to pronounce it. And a good example of them is right here. You can see there's these little almost like spheres. They look like there's something wrong with the plant. That is actually a home for the types of bacteria that do nitrogen fixing, which is taking nitrogen from the air and turning it into a form that plants can use. The most common kind of legume that you would be able to find, and today I actually want you to identify them, to see them, is the common clover. You will definitely be able to see this if you go outside anywhere. It's a little harder to see because it's a much smaller plant, but if you get real close, you can see there's these little, same thing, growths, not nodules on the end of it. Inside there is bacteria that turns nitrogen into a liquid form. Today, you are going to do a scavenger hunt around your house. And if you can go outside, look for examples of legumes, because without legumes, we would not have enough nitrogen to live. And P.S., we're trying to get to 100 subscribers. Share this with your brothers, sisters, friends, and have them subscribe.